Hello and welcome to episode 4 of the Secret Hot Tub podcast. Who thought I would be doing this 2 weeks in a row? Most podcasts give up on any new format straight away. I know I certainly have over the last 10 years of doing this. But I got some good feedback. It's a bit weird, I know. It's a bit of an odd thing to be doing a solo podcast. But what is TRDQ if not a little bit odd anyway? So what have you been up to, eh? What have you been up to? I went to a Comic-Con near me recently in Cumbernauld just this weekend. What's it called? I don't know. I can't remember the name of the Comic-Con, but it was fairly... Wait, it's fairly shite. It was basically in a long shopping centre, and in the aisle between the shops, folks had set up some stalls, selling toys and other crud, and it was okay. Like, it definitely had a sort of air of, is this it? It had that feeling about it. I did pick up some stuff though. I got animated Retgar. I found that I was going to review animated Retgar, right? I opened up the box, took it out, and his little red thing off the front of one of his scoops was missing. And I was like, oh, I'll find that in the box. Can't find it anywhere. So I had to buy an entirely new Retgar just to replace this one little red bit. And I'm sure now that I've done that, I'll find that little red bit. I'll have two Retgars. Not necessarily a bad problem to have. But I also got Revenge of the Fallen Voyager Prime, which I know is sickening, but it's in that clear plastic. It's a transparent clear plastic, so it looks quite interesting. So fucking shut it. And I got that Rise of the Beasts Prime and Lion Blade. It's like a daft white lion that combines with this little simple Optimus Prime. It's pretty cheap, I thought, so fair enough. Overall, got some comics and stuff too, and yeah, it was a good day. Got to see some pals. We went to the comic shop in my hometown, the first time I've been to the comic shop in my hometown since we moved about 4 years ago. And it's great. It is a proper old fashioned comic shop. It's got, half of it is comics. It's old back issues. There was a table for people to play Pokemon if they like that kind of thing, graphic novels, loads of wargaming stuff, board games, pre-owned stuff, back issue. Yeah, I was really surprised by how cool it was. I was thinking it was going to be quite an unwelcoming place, but they were very nice, and it was surprisingly busy. I'm into it. I will definitely go back to my local comic shop. It feels weird to have a local comic shop, in a good way. Well, the Hot Wheels Optimus Prime sold out in half an hour. $80. Look, hey, up until recently, I was what I would call financially invincible, or at the very least irresponsible. So I can't judge, but wowee, that's a lot of money for a little thing. But I mean, hey, you know what? You know what? Good on you. Good on you if you like it. Well, I don't know why I sound so bitter about this thing. I don't care that much. I saw there's a rumour about EarthSpark that it might be ending after season 2, and honestly, I think that would be a huge shame. I mean, they might still shit the bed in season 2, the way they've kind of shat the bed with the toy line. And I like that toy line. I like a lot of the toys, but the distribution, the character choices, and the size class choices, and missing characters in general, and it's just quite disappointing considering how good the designs and the characterization is on the show. Like, I'm sure I spoke about this recently, but accompanying media is so important to me when getting into anything new. A new character, a new toy. Like, I really liked Magnus from the Legacy line. The big grey rock car man. There was nothing, like no suggestion of who they were, their origin, their likes or dislikes. Something as simple as that. That was enough to draw me in when I was a kid, and it got me building out all my favourite characters. I like him because he's quite like me, or all that kind of egocentric stuff that kids can do. And like the toys are only half the battle there when it comes to making something special, and we don't even get bios for new characters anymore. So it's all kind of hanging on this one really shaky nail of like nostalgia and accumulated knowledge, and that kind of stinks. And like, what did EarthSpark do? It gave us tons of character and personality for each of the bots. Like Jawbreaker, I would fucking die for Jawbreaker. Would I die for Magnus? Like, maybe I don't really know them that well. Like, I don't want to take a bullet for someone who might be a hateful bigot, And whatever comes out next might have that same commitment to doing the same character-driven stories, but I think they've built a pretty fun world with EarthSpark, and it'd be a shame to see it cut short. And I get, like, speaking of hateful bigots, seeing some people say, oh, it's cancellations probably because of, like, one short scene where they discussed pronouns. Like, Fucking appalling stuff. You need to be ashamed of yourselves. Like, that scene meant so much to so many people, and it doesn't affect you in the fucking slightest. So, like, if you've got a problem with it, or like, I guess non-binary folks, or any folks, just because they're different, you can go and fuck a pipe as best you can. Oh, we're in the final week of Monkey Mania, folks. Does it feel less impactful than last year? You know, maybe it's because we switched to the once a week format for reviews. You know, maybe it's just me. I don't know. Sometimes I get impatient with that schedule, but it's good for me, honestly. Like, two a week wasn't sustainable anymore. We did that for like 3 years. You know, being able to do a daft 15-minute podcast like this, I do G1DQ for a Friday on the Patreon. That is enough, along with a review, quite frankly. God knows what happens when I enter back into full-time employment. But as of next week, we'll be back in robot country. We're gonna. Do you want to know upcoming review plans? I don't even know if I do at this point. Like, I like to keep it quite fluid. I think if I made a decision on a review in advance, like, I tend to overthink it, and then I'm bored of it by the time I get to review it. So, I don't know. This time I'm definitely going to review Missing Link Prime. That's the next review after Monkey Mania is done. And then maybe some Manta Force. I just took delivery of something very exciting, an incredible new piece for the ever-growing collection. And I mean that because it's all fucking huge. So yeah, keep your eyes open for those. I asked in the last episode if we could get some questions in, or sort of mailbag, if you will. And we got a few letters in, and I was pretty surprised by that. So let's dive into them. Vince asks, any plans to review Jungle Planet Cybertron Optimus Prime this Monkey Mania? It's one of my few favourite childhood Transformers that I still have. I like it a lot. I don't know if my fragile physique, oh sorry, my fragile psyche can handle another 4 years before you get to it. Now, comments on your physique aside, Vince, I'm glad you asked. That's none of your business, frankly. No, you know what? I was positive that I'd reviewed the BotCon 8 Link many moons ago, but I couldn't find it in my archive. But that said, I didn't really look that hard. I have 8 Link with the surfboard, as well as the Jungle Planet and 10th Anniversary Primal. They don't have their surfboards though, so I'll definitely give them their own spotlight at some point. But perhaps Monkey Mania will return in 2025. Don't worry, calm down. One listener, Hams, sent a lovely email about how they got into Transformers through TRDQ, so sorry about that, Hams. They picked up Legacy Tarn and the animated Bulkhead, and to be honest, those are pretty strong starts to any collection. They also asked about my general process when it comes to being creative. They say, you know, they want to give it a shot, but it's tough. It can be hard to juggle other interests, family time, etc., not to mention work. Like, my advice on that's applicable no matter what you're doing. If you want to be creative through art or music, you know, whatever form you want to express yourself, like, when you're starting out, you're probably inspired by the folks that put their stuff online, and you think, I would like to do that, but you might make excuses not to get started because you're worried about whatever you put online, and you're worried about that feedback, or even worse, not getting any feedback. And so when you get started, my advice is always to take that out of the equation. You know, start this journey with no audience in mind. Do it for yourself, get comfortable with it, give yourself time to experiment with it, to fuck it up, to learn, to grow, like, have fun with it. And obviously take inspiration from other creative people, but do this for you. Make time for yourself. You are worth investing your time in, even if it's 10 minutes a day, even if it's just, you know, if it's drawing, pick up a notepad and a pen, keep it handy in case you've got some spare time. You know, if you're learning the guitar, put down your pint of Guinness long enough to play some new chords now and again. You know, start small, start slow. Don't expect miracles overnight. Believe in your ability to get better, and then share it with the world when you're ready. And let me know how you get on. Like, it's genuinely, for me, the best thing in the world to see folks develop a passion for something creative. It's why I enjoy small channels like my own. Folks that aren't playing the algorithm game or stealing their toys from Vietnamese factories. Folks who are just in it for the love of it. It does my heart so much good to see. Mark sent in an email about TF Nation, Europe's largest Transformers convention, don't you know? They say, I've never been to TF Nation, but I'm seriously considering it this year. But it's a big expense coming from the Netherlands. As a non-celeb, unlike you, and a serious introvert, is it likely to be a good time? I get the impression from a distance that there might be an in-crowd vibe that's hard to get into. Well, Mark, thank you. One, for the email. Two, for acknowledging how famous I am. But let me level with you, Mark. I am a serious introvert too. It can be difficult to spot, as I can be quite good at talking to people and having. I've got no problem with public speaking or engaging with groups, but that shit does drain the life out of me in terms of, that classic introvert thing of having the battery level. My battery levels drain like fuck when I'm dealing with people. At the end of a day at TF Nation, I am spent and I definitely need some alone time to recharge those batteries. And the weekend goes by so quickly, but there's always an opportunity to take time for yourself, take frequent breaks, there's quiet areas. You can go to your room. Trust me when I say you're not alone as an introvert at Europe's largest Transformers convention. In terms of an in-crowd vibe, I'm not going to tell you folks don't tend to congregate around their pals or in certain groups, but I can tell you also, honestly, TF Nation is the most welcoming and inclusive convention I can imagine going to. Like, everyone's so friendly, and honestly, striking up a conversation so easy because you all love the same thing. Someone's got a toy on their table, talk to them about it. I've never had a bad or awkward experience at TFN. Now, I know I say that from a place of privilege, but still. Otherwise, if you're looking to make some inroads before then, maybe look into some online communities. I hasten to say that because they are generally horrible. I don't know. Like, pop into a chat. I'm not pushing my Patreon here, but we have a chat on the Patreon if you want to meet folks and make some pals to meet up with when you're there. And of course, if you do go to TF Nation, come by the Forge. I'll be at the TM UK table. I'm always happy to talk to people, and I always get on with people from the Netherlands. I think it's because I love Mac Magek so much. Finally, we got quite a serious one, signed by Simply S, that reads, I find myself constantly frustrated at work. My supervisor has clear favourites and is always dismissive of my contributions and even admonishes me in front of my colleagues. It's not an exaggeration to say I've been publicly humiliated by him on many occasions. I think the antagonism stems from my strong drive to succeed. I've made no secret that I'm aiming for promotion to his level one day, and I've demonstrated this by taking the initiative several times in situations where our policies were unclear or he was absent. I think he feels threatened by my appetite for leadership and is worried I might kick him when he's down or cast him aside when the opportunity arises. How can I manage this complex situation in a way that doesn't leave me crumbling under the stress? Sincerely, wait a fucking sec. Right, hold on, let me hack the mainframe for a second. Let's see who wrote this. Joseph! Oh, I think that's more than enough for this episode, isn't it? We talked enough shite. I'm completely over worrying about whether this is a good idea or not. Whether it lives or dies doesn't matter. If I don't care about it, I'll stop doing it. But if I'm still enjoying doing it, then I will. So that's it. So don't tell me if you like it or not. Couldn't care less. But yeah, thank you so much for your support, everyone. Thank you for listening to this. If you support us on patreon.com/TRDQ, I really do appreciate that. And if you share, all the usual stuff is, very much appreciated. At the moment, I'm getting stuff together for TF Nation. I'm getting prints together. I'm getting our badges together. I'm contributing to 2 different zines, so I'm putting that together as well. It's busy bee at this point in time. I was thinking about having some sort of theme around letters. Please do send anything if you want to talk about anything, you want me to mention anything. Yeah, askrepugnus@gmail.com. Send an email to us there. That's the best place to reach us. But I'm thinking maybe we could have a theme. And I think it could be around, I know we have a lot of people in different countries. So I want to talk about your best con experience. What was the best convention you've been to, and why was that? What was it that made it so good? I think for me, the best convention experience was for TF Nation 2017. So we were lucky enough to work on a convention exclusive comic, Transformers Animated Trial and Error, and it was written by Chris McFeely and Jim Sorensen, and it was like it's essentially an ending to Transformers Animated, the one that we never got. And I got to do artwork for it along with Ed Perry and Hertzpalter. Their parts are much better looking than mine. And Andy Turnbull did letters, Josh Perez did a cover for it. It was just quite a prestigious, very cool thing to be a part of. And I feel very lucky about that. We got to do a panel on it, chatting about the process, and yeah, just absolutely incredible. Loved working on that. Working on also, I think it was the next year, they did the script reading for the Trial of Megatron, which was going to be like the season 4 first couple of episodes. I got to contribute artwork for that. For some reason, I was so much more nervous about that because it had the proper voice actors doing the script reading, and yeah, incredible. In fact, there's so many moments from TF Nation that have just been so great. Yeah, let me know what yours is. askrepugnus@gmail.com. And that's it. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you through the fucking window.